sippin', I'm 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 sippin'.
Sippin', I'm 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 sippin'.
Speaking of mellow. Oh, this is good. Oh, we like. This is like sour and we like.
Perfect. This is Sippin' with Sammie. I am Sippin' with Sammie, Sam Malone, Barstool, Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammie, you ain't sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together. It'll be 2023 already. You wouldn't have had a shot yet. And I have with me today
Slay Myers.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming. Glad to have you.
I'm thankful you had me. I'm extra happy to be here.
Yeah. One thing that your humble self has been saying is that you're excited, and we're excited to have you. We appreciate you.
I'm always excited for meeting people and opportunities as an artist and everything, and just giving me the space because you don't have to. So, but yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yes, I really do.
Now, little quick overview. You are a vocalist.
Yes.
So tell the people a little bit about your background, what it is that you bring to the people entertainment-wise.
All right, so my name is Slay Myers. I don't know if some of y'all might recognize me. Hey.
They're going to tune in for you. You got people.
What's good? I love you guys too. It's always so like, oh my God. All right,
it's
so
a blessing. It's a blessing.
Yeah, right. Because I've been doing it for so long. I'm about to tell y'all the story or the short version. Yeah. So my name is Slay Myers. I've been doing music since I was 14. My first love was acting. I was just a performer from an early age.
Yeah, you give me that.
Yeah, my pictures I look at, when we're young pictures of my mom and my family, I was always like...
Always being extra.
Yeah, extra and weird. And I remember the first time my mom
it's not weird.
Yeah, let me not say that. Being myself, you know? You're right.
You're in your space.
Yeah, being myself. And the first time I remember anything, my mom put me in like modeling school when I was like 8. I didn't ask her anything. She just put me in there. When I asked her in like hindsight, she was like, you just had a lot of energy. I just wanted to put you in something. So my first love was acting until I found out I could sing by accident when I was 14.
How do you find out you can sing by accident?
Well, first off, I used to like, have like CD players and stuff when I was like 12 and everything. I used to listen to like, Now 8, Now 6 with, compilation CDs.
That's amazing. I didn't know black people actually got those things.
Listen, I told you I was different. Listen, don't get me started. I still get hype over that song. I used to love Backstreet Boys. Listen,
I used to hate that commercial.
Oh, told you I was different. Told you.
So go ahead.
So found out I could sing completely by accident. I was listening to, of all things, Mariah Carey's Emancipation of Mimi. When it
that was a big deal.
Gotcha, when it came out,
that was a big deal.
Yeah, I knew who she was, but I never really
was that
like.
JD? Was that her? Yeah. That's when JD had her rocking.
They're like brother and sister.
Yep.
So randomly, I was just listening to the radio with my friend, and I was just like jamming because I knew who she was, but that CD was like fire, and we were like 14 at the time and jamming, and he was just like, I don't know if it's like you or the radio, but somebody sounds really good, and I was just like looking at him like, I don't know, because I never really knew I could sing. I just knew I was a performer, like an actor and everything. So I was just like, So I remember, I always say this because I didn't know what it was at the time, but I always remembered when you're in the bathroom, for some reason, it sounds different, louder. So I was like, let me go in the bathroom. And I was like, I don't know what that thing is, but I'm going to go in there because for some reason, I went in there and I sung, and I was just like, it felt warm here.
It's acoustics, and they say everybody sounds good in the shower, but the bathroom, that little box is actually built. The
it's
reverb
like a recording.
is perfect.
Yeah,
it's kind of the opposite, but the same as a booth.
Yeah,
because a booth has the padding so that it doesn't give that off, but the microphone does.
Yeah,
in your head.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? In your ears.
Right.
So it's a weird thing.
And it's weird how I like now in hindsight when I think it's weird how I picked that up. It was like God was like giving me like little clues, like.
But it's funny because I'll pause you here. You said, and it's funny for multiple reasons. One thing you said, your mom saw that you had a lot of energy and she put you in a modeling.
She put me...
And that was like, in our community a lot of times, if your mom's not a dancer or actor, she's, she goes for what she knows. This is something where you could be active and you could do something that you're pretty, you know what I mean?
Right,
all of those things.
Right.
And you can learn how to carry yourself, and it's a lot of benefits to it. But modeling isn't where you put a active child necessarily, because a lot of hurry up and wait. It's a lot of just sitting still, and then you gotta wait, and then you wardrobe change and wait, and it's a lot of that.
But it paid off because, again, I feel like that was all like God's work. He was just like in a thing. Like,
oh no, you were there for a reason.
He was like,
you were there for a
now
purpose.
in hindsight,
but it's so funny that energy led to modeling.
Right. Just like you said, you know how to move, you know how to carry. It comes all for a reason.
You start being aware of certain things. Yeah, it's a big thing. Your good
side, the lightings, what works,
stage
and all
presence. That. All these things are important in the things you did after that.
Yeah.
But how did that transition to acting? Because you said then you went
So then I developed, again, she just put me in there random. I didn't ask her anything. Mm-hmm. So from there, it was like a modeling acting school. Okay. And I was just like, and I started watching like soap operas at the time.
You know the name of the school?
Barbizon. And John Casablancas. Those were the two main
ones. I'm familiar with a few day schools because my sister was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbizon was the very first one I remember going to in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. Every weekend, my mom would take me there, buy new outfits. She brought me there and would get mad at me.
Y'all go from here to Manhattan?
No, I'm not even originally from here.
Okay, so where was y'all at this time?
Originally, New York.
What part?
Queens.
So you was going from Queens to Manhattan?
Yep.
To go to Barbizon? Okay.
Weekly.
Okay.
And she would get mad at me.
How long is that? And how did what was y'all modes of transportation?
I think the train.
More than likely.
Yeah,
right?
more than likely the train. My mom
was
very.
An hour? 45?
Yeah, probably.
Depending.
I don't remember details because I was a kid, but
no, because every ride felt long when we was a kid.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to imagine because I had to go from uptown to downtown to go to acting class. But go ahead.
Oh yeah. So my mom,
I'm familiar with these things.
She was very like into the subway life, so it was just like every weekend she would it's like she devoted herself to it, but she would get mad too, like, oh, here we go again with it. I'm like, but you took me, but it worked out. So. Fast forward.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out to
God
mom.
Bless you.
And listen, we had our moments, but at the end of the day, my mom is the best, yo. She still spoils the hell out of me. Like I'm still 12, and I'm just.
You said she made that her job, basically. Like that. That's a beautiful thing because.
Till this day, she's.
It's
willing
a thing.
To
you have
sacrifice.
to get up and move around and deal with your attitude and get you in the right mood to do what you got to do.
Okay. Talking about attitude, I was crazy when I was like, woo! All right. So
that's dope.
And that kind of transitioned into the whole acting thing, and I was like into soap operas, and I wanted to just like I was doing like slates and videos. They were like action and do commercial things. How would you do for a Colgate commercial, and all that other stuff. And fast forward,
acting class could be fun, but a lot of it was boring to me. I loved improv.
Yeah.
And it was one other part that is slipping me right now that I really enjoy, but overall it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Because you learned.
Yeah, and everything like
and everybody's weird in that class,
even the teacher. So fast forward to I left New York when I was 12. We moved when I was 12. My mom, I guess, felt New York got a little too expensive, and
absolutely,
we came to Philly, and of course I had to come with her too because I'm 12. So where am I gonna go? So I met a group of friends that were very like musical, and it's like again. Push you towards the thing, and they kind of introduced me to like listening to music all the time, and from there I started singing all the time, and I wasn't paying attention to I just was liking the music.
So how do we get to now? How is now your resource for like you only like radio songs?
What you mean do I only like radio songs?
Because all that used to come on those Now CDs was the songs off the radio. Well, how do you like if you're around musical people, how do we get to now?
I don't know. I'm just an eclectic person. I don't know. I just like
cool.
different things, Yeah. Again, I started off listening to that. I wasn't listening to like oldies. My mom wasn't playing oldies every Saturday.
And I think that's a lot of people's upbringing in some way. Even if your parents listen to hip hop, you listen to old school.
I wasn't singing in the church. None of that. I just literally.
Now I'm gonna tell you my opinion with the Now CDs. The thing that really turned me off with them, because I'm not judging you for liking them, because clearly they're hit records, right? Mm-hmm. But what used to happen was
they had everybody on there, Leah.
Everybody, but these used to be the songs that played for the last 6 months every 5 minutes, and then they would put them all on the CD together. So by the time the CD would come out, I kind of be burnt out. Like I would still like the record, but I didn't necessarily. I was like, I'm trying to get some exclusive now,
right, something new
to grow to,
right.
So that's why it's kind of like a thing that I'm tapping in on, because it's like it's literally the radio. Like you could make your own Now CD.
Now, literally. Right after that, people was making mixed CDs all the time. So I was just like, okay. Once I figured that out too, I was like, don't sue me, anybody. But I was
So when
just
you
like,
started making mixed CDs, what was your twist?
Oh my God.
What energy was you gravitating
Okay,
towards?
when I first found out I could sing, I was attracted to the divas. Mariah, Whitney, Celine, Christina. I had a stereo in my mom's basement.
Now you named a good list of divas. Can you give me your definition of a diva?
A singer, like she can really sing.
A diva in the singing sense.
Like someone who can't be played with vocally. Like she's a beast.
There's a lot of definitions of diva.
At least in my definition.
Yeah, and that's fine. Because that's not a bad definition.
Yeah, because come on, Mariah, Whitney. They
I
were
said, you got a good list. But, you know, back in the day, it was Patty and Aretha.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Right. Yeah. Those were like, I listened to a little bit of Aretha too. Like that, the soul was always a little in there a little bit. But
different.
Yeah, like I said, I just automatically was attracted to big voices. And I feel like I was doing vocal lessons without even realizing. Because I knew how to harmonize and nobody taught me that. Mind you, I didn't go to a music class. I didn't get a vocal thing.
We was getting there.
I think me I remember listening to their voices and thinking, damn, they can sing. And I was like, I'm just going to listen to see where it comes from and I'm going to emulate that. So
you got a good, you naturally had a good ear.
I guess.
No, trust me. People like you don't understand that, like, people have to be taught how to listen.
Shh.
You see what I'm saying? The consumer is 90% of the market, because even if somebody's a rapper, they're a consumer of what you do. They can't do what you do, right?
Right.
So, like, they hear the whole thing. Mm-hmm. They hear the softball full of, they don't care what's in the softball. They don't care how many stitches it takes to make the softball. They got this big ball
it's just
that's
complete.
spinning perfect for them.
Right.
And they can knock it out the park every time it come on in their head.
Right.
But you know what it takes to make that softball. But you don't you didn't have to fight to get through the stuffing. You naturally understood the stuffing.
And I'm a songwriter too, and I naturally started writing immediately. And for some reason, that's why the type of music I make music to, like, I call it to the quote I put in my bio on Instagram: life gave me lemons, so I made the sweetest sounds. Mm-hmm. So I'm a real person. I make music to raise the vibes, you know, because we all go through things. And once you start to learn a couple things about life, it's like, oh, I'm going to put that, like, at least for me, I put that into song. And I'm like, hopefully somebody can get inspired by that too. And it's like, because we can really do this, y'all.
Well, music in general, when you have a talent for music and when you can write and it comes across and you can connect with people, all of those things, because I don't want to just generalize musicianship as it's just that easy.
Right.
But when you have these factors that play into a point, it's hypnotic. It's intrinsic.
You got the right word, yo. Hypnotic. You got the right word. Oh my God.
So many young black men have been raised, quote unquote, by rappers. And when they say that, they're saying the things, those little one-liners that stuck in their head, that rung in their head, that an older guy or, you know what I mean, somebody close to you was supposed to tell them. They were getting it from Jay-Z or Jadakiss or whoever was saying it.
That was their OG.
But it helped them in a way where it was like there were situations that came up and that played back. Just like if your parents scold you for something, you be like, whatever. And then you run into that wall and you like, they just fucking said. And you don't want to be that person to have to admit, like, oh, I didn't. So then you correct, you know what I mean, behavior. Like, I think that we have to know the value in these words that we putting down. And what you're saying is that you understood early what your intentions of what you used your words for were. Now, I'm saying this to say that when you said the part about hopefully this will do this. No, it will do that. Because it's on repeat.
It
if
does.
they vibe with it once, if they ride home from work and it hit them, they running it back.
Yeah.
Once they run it back, it's to a beat. Both times. This thing is there.
It's unbelievable.
That's a gift. It's a beautiful thing.
It's unbelievable. And what you just said, my latest single that I dropped in June, I remember I went on somebody's live to like sing it like a cappella to like promote it because it was dropping midnight that night because, you know, we learned that too.
Talk that promo.
That's another thing too. I almost quit this music stuff and everything, but you don't gotta quit. You just gotta learn. There's a lot of people that's like scared to go from scratch. I'm not scared to go from scratch.
We'll get there, but go back to your point.
But what was I saying?
I knew you was gonna do that.
Yeah.
You were saying that There was a, you said something. I said talk that promo shit.
Oh yeah, that promo.
Right.
Oh yeah. So the latest single I have called "It's My Time."
Exactly.
I remember after I got on that live, there was a specific lady that DM'd me, and that's when I knew, because before I dropped that single, I had another single planned to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And then something in me was, because I wrote that song like a while ago, and I was just like, something in me was just like, this one's all right, but some keep telling me like, go back to that "It's My Time" joint. And I was just like, because it's bigger than me, like, because a lot of people, especially in the times that we're living in, it's so like, you know, you really gotta be in your own world, in the world, to like believe and like to really like think about things and like believe that you can manifest things. So I was just like, yeah. So I went back in the studio, redid everything, and you know, the lady DM'd me. She was just like, you know, I felt that "It's My Time." Like there's so much going on in my life right now, and my 2-year-old daughter, I guess she was on her lap and she played the recording. I kept it in my Facebook so I could play it over and over, because I was just like, you see, you're not crazy. They feel it. They feel it.
It's the vibrations. I mean,
It's
music,
crazy. I felt so like, wow.
Think about how many levels what you do vibrates on. There's the musicianship of the music that you chose, how you choose the pockets that you choose, your tone, the melodies that come in between, or the repetitions that people.
You listening? You
like,
paying
these
attention?
are the things, but these are all of the things that, like, if it's dope, a motherfucker is going to hear what you say. Like, they have to.
That's exactly
And they
what I
don't
said.
have to, but they have to, because if they need it, they have to.
That's
That's the
exactly
thing.
what I said.
That's
I
what
said
music
this is
is,
going
right?
to hit who it's supposed to hit. I was like, it's going to hit who it's supposed to hit.
Because we use music for our emotions. And it's funny because people always say, well, this that shit you play in the gym. You know, it's a lot of people in the gym listening to the orchestra or listening to R&B.
You'd be surprised.
Everybody don't need
Everybody's vibe
the
is
extra
different.
pump up. Sometimes they want to zone out to do their thing. So we pick and choose this art for what we need it for.
Exactly.
I used to say when I was young, and I used to be in Jersey trying to get back to Philly, and I know I had a few too many and I need to drive careful.
Oh, crap.
I wouldn't put in Young Jeezy and none of the shit that I was playing earlier that day.
Yep.
I would put on Flowetry, and all you gotta do is
Sade.
get home.
Right. It's energy.
And just calm myself down, open the sunroof, and drive slow. You know what I mean? And it's just like we literally use music for what we need it for and the time we need it for. And every song is not going to fit everything in your life. Every vibe is not going to fit everything in your life. And as artists, we get greedy. Yep. We want to make enough different variations of projects so
where
that
everybody loves
you can always put us on.
Yep.
You can always go to me for whatever.
Yep.
But that has to come in an artistic time too. We can't force that.
I told you, I had a whole thing, and I had to scrap. I had to go back and do a whole video. That was work. You know, and another thing I was discussing too, people see like these productions, these movies, recordings, music videos, whatever it is, and they just see and they think that little 3 minutes, that's it. It's so much
much 3 days
work.
to make 3 minutes sometimes.
It's so much like
sometimes it's 3 days to make 3 minutes. It might take you as long to make a video, depending on which locations and what you need to get it done, as it does people to do a short film sometimes. That they could probably do in their apartment building.
Yeah. I'm in it, so I know. So, yeah, so.
No, I like that you pointed that out, because we talk about a lot of things, and some things are redundant, not necessarily in a bad way, but we talk about them a lot because we're talking to the same kind of people. But that's one thing that nobody really has spoke to. The production value of when you really care about your visuals is like, it's bigger than that 3 minutes. It's all about that 3 minutes.
It's grueling.
But this is wardrobes and hair changes and groups of people and businesses that I gotta talk to.
If you're writing like people who are songwriters, I don't know if everybody else's experience is different, but you don't just get to like, at least for me, like it takes me like a little process. Sometimes I write a song like just like that because I'm in that mode, but then there's times I'm like, I go through the process of like the judgment, like, ew, that sucks, that sounds weird, the overthinking. Shit's a process, and I'm just like, all right, but the more I do it, the less I go through that. It gets less and less. I'm like, all right, it's not that you're like super like, oh, I got this in the bag or anything like cocky, but it's like,
well,
understand you have some type of foundation and just work off of that. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, because overthinking ruins everything.
The more that you produce art that you put out, it gives you a little more free range to play around a little bit with certain things.
You're free
because it's like, y'all have this, y'all know I be that I do this. So now I'm doing this, as opposed to people trying to figure out what you do and being like, well, no, I can do that and I can do this.
So, so people feel the music. The latest single, "It's My Time," I dropped it in June, and that's
you gonna send me that B3? We're gonna put it at the end of the episode.
Oh yeah,
and you gonna clear it so that I don't get flagged for it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's cleared, guys. And I'll give you guys a little sample if you like.
Word.
Oh.
We do that after. Perfect. Perfect. So when it comes to the process of thinking of backlash while you're creating your art, like, what's the percentage? Like, how much does it really affect you? Are we talking about wordplay? Are we talking about impact? Are we talking about mood? Are we talking about judgment?
Me personally, I was watching this interview with LaToya Luckett from Destiny's Child, and she talked about how she lost her confidence in singing because somebody said to her when she was like, when they was in Destiny's Child, it was like boot camp. They was, working hard. Yeah. And that's she talked about, and they were talking about, she was saying how someone made a comment about her voice. And she was like, when I was little, the confidence I had in my singing voice, nobody could tell me nothing. I would do anything to have that confidence back. Right. And I always, because I used to have those confidence issues growing up too. Like, like most people, you have to go through phases to find who you are. And once you find that sweet spot of like, me,
and you came in non-traditionally too. So there's always a second guessing of somebody else might be better prepared or whatever.
But honestly, once you find you and, your crowd and you understand you, like, I heard that interview and I felt so like, wow. And I was just like, yep, don't ever allow nobody to make you feel, because you lit.
I've seen it in sports. I came up playing ball, and I transferred into Roman Catholic in high school, and it's number 5, number 6 in the nation. We had players that wound up going to the NBA at the time. You know what I mean? Right after that and all of that. And when I first got there, the players told me a specific coach, and they said, don't let him fuck you up. Don't let him get in your head. He will make the dopest motherfucker feel like he ain't shit.
They ain't nothing.
And I saw it. Like, I seen
You can see certain people are designed that way.
People that their whole life, they was the man on the basketball court. Most comfortable, their sanctuary.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And it happens in entertainment of all forms. Art too, like you said, with music, that I can see why, because I've seen that happen to people. But it's part of the reason why I try to build. There's ways to do things. Tell her to try something. Show her that she can do something. Put her in her sweet spot. Show her how great that is, and then show her that she can do something else. Right. Like, don't traumatize somebody based on the one thing that they've been known to be able to be good at their entire life. Yeah. Because they was young when they started. So this is the thing that, that's the little girl that could... Yeah,
really sang and everything. So
that's rough.
That's one thing.
I didn't see that interview. That's rough.
Yeah, so that's why when you ask me, do I think about criticism? Not really, because I'm just being me and I'm just creating. I'm not thinking like when I create, I just go in and I'm just like, all right, and it's usually inspired by like things that are happening in my life anyway. So it's just like,
step on a crack, make a crack song. It's like no,
but you know what I mean. Like if I just had a very interesting, that's just the type of person I am. Like if I just got done having a very interesting conversation, like that'll be my next caption or something.
I'll be honest. Del P, shout out to the brother. One of my homies. I've had a conversation with him, and something was said that we was motivating each other, or congratulating each other on whatever. And a line was, that's the name of the song. Whenever we get in the studio, that's the name of the song. You know what I'm saying? And there was somebody else that I had a conversation with recently that happened. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to write that down and I'm going to text it to you. Mm-hmm. So when we go to the studio, we can't act like we forgot. That's the name. That's the energy of the record. Right. I think that those moments excite me. Mm-hmm. Because I'm somebody that if I go to the studio with you and you like, this the vibe, this what we doing, this what we trying to get across, then I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do my fizzle. Right. But when we could base it on something that is usually conversation based, that means that it probably came from a place or an angle that most people didn't attack yet, because I wouldn't have the same conversation that we've been hearing in the same way over and over again with somebody that's intelligent and that's creative. Right. Does that make sense? Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. It's like
the conversations that you just had, you want to put that out there to hopefully like enlighten a person, because we don't know everything. I get inspired every day.
I want to push the conversation forward.
Yeah, because somebody might not think about that for their own perspective, and it's like, wow. Like I told you a few minutes ago, like I've been doing music since I was 14, and I've done a bunch of things. I tried the American Idol, you know, so many different things to like get to what I believe would be my level of success, and
absolutely
underline my level of success, because I think that's another thing too. People get caught in like, you have to have like a why, you have to have like a point, like, you know, what is your definition of what you think is successful? Then
you're not going with the journey at that point. At some point, right? At some point, you just gotta let the journey be the journey.
Yeah. But you know, in your mind, like, okay, what type of artist do you see yourself being? Do you want to be successful? You want to be this? You want to be that? That's what I mean.
What is successful though?
Right. That's what I said.
Right.
What do you define as successful?
Right.
It all depends on what you think.
Because I always had the argument that, because, you know, we live in a social media age, and I know a lot of dope people that's over 30 that's still making their shots at whatever they're doing musically. And
they're probably
I'll see people
it.
say, you this age and you still rapping and you this and the third. And I'm like,
right?
Do you realize?
Isn't that crazy?
Do you realize that some of these people, all right, you work 2 jobs, you support your kids, they have possibly a day job, and they make enough money off of this music thing that is building for them to not have to go to a second job. Right. Do you know that to do what you love, that's a blessing? And it's something else that I was going to point out to you, that you said, I mean, along the lines of what you were saying. Like, we can have a whim, a conversation, make a record, and they study it in universities, break it down. Just something that was 15 minutes of your thought process, $30, $50 of your financial energy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But there will be, like, shout out to Keith Freeman. I don't know if you know Keith, but he's local. And he has some good music, and he has inspirational music. He's a rapper. Okay. And he talks about some shit. Like, matter of fact, he's one of the ones that I have a song in mind with already too. But a teacher gave her middle school class his song, printed out the lyrics, played the song, and they broke it down and wrote what it meant to them. And all. That's the hardest shit. That is so dope, yo. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because we hope to reach our peers, but to have children interpret these things.
That's how you know you're doing something, because kids are
honest as hell.
Yeah, because they haven't gone through that like whole world of like, you know, how to like build, mask, and develop and adapt. They just are them. So they're just gonna be like, if a kid tell you lit, you lit.
And
you lit.
It's crazy.
Believe it.
One of my first confirmations, I put out a single, I put out a video, and my man was in it, and he's Italian. And his wife sent me a DM me a video of their 3-year-old, 4-year-old, little Italian girl, little white girl. She said I can't get her from in front of the computer. She just keeps singing along, and she, what? Yeah, you what? Yeah, yo,
she's
what?
Listening.
And it's like, from the mouths of babes, boy. If she gets it and she don't know what I'm saying, then at least I got the bop right.
You see?
You see what I'm saying?
You see?
I trust them. But your mom trusted you.
Yeah, and I got a documentary out too called "It's My Time." I put it out, you know, with the song, because I think I feel like a couple of years ago, like I told you, I was really like thinking, I'm like, am I really gonna still do this, man? Because I love what I do. Thank goodness I was like, I'm really passionate about what I do, and I like what I do. So I was doing it for years, putting it out and just hoping somebody heard it. But I just felt good to just get my art out there.
Yeah.
But then at some point I was just like, I could really do this on a bigger level. We just got to figure out how to do this, you know?
Absolutely.
How to do this, because you really can do this. Like, and I really started seeing myself as that. And that's when I knew. I was just like, the work you're doing is really working, because I never thought of myself like, you know, in the, like, I could do this. That's why I really thought to myself like, all right, so we're going to go from scratch, and we're going to do this, and we're going to start over and really make this happen. So the documentary I have specifically for a reason, because I want people to see, like, I've been doing this for a long time, and there's a lot of music out.
So it's called It's My Time.
Yep.
How long is the doc?
20 minutes.
And where is the doc?
YouTube.
Okay.
Yep. It's on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe. Slay Myas everywhere. SlayMayas everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I specifically wanted that out because I knew when I put that song, I'm like, people are going to be like, who are you?
Yeah.
And they're going to want to know. And I'm like, well, here's the journey. It's only 20 minutes, because keep it nice and short and sweet.
20 minutes is good.
Yeah.
20 minutes is good.
And it's a good, my beginnings from New York is in there. When I was born in New York and up until now. And yeah, so.
How about older music?
I love old. Honestly,
your older music.
My older music?
Your original, finding your voice. Making records.
That's available everywhere too. On SoundCloud. If y'all want to go,
how do you feel about it? Are you inspired by it? Do you look back on it and cringe? How do you feel about it?
I don't really sit back and cringe. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a good thing.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's a good thing.
And you know what I do? I've listened over and over. I just thought to myself, girl, what have you been doing all this time? I listen to my own music and I'm not like, pompous or like weird or anything like that. But I'm a very real person. And I know when things make me cringe, I'll cringe, but I'll accept it and eat it. I'm like, look at the embarrassment and look at where you can improve. Look at it.
Yeah,
look at it.
When I listen to my old shit, sometimes it's a delivery like, damn, you could have said that better. Or you could have, that pocket, you was a little off.
Yeah.
But
it's development.
But I realized that's my head.
Yeah.
Because when I play it, because I had the blessing of being at a radio stations and the DJ will play in a room full of,
right.
They're reacting, I'm thinking. You see what I'm saying? It is like, pay attention to them.
Yeah.
So
get out your own head because
you might not have been where you're at, but you was all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I was all right. I was thinking to myself, and vocally, I was just like, yeah, you was like, I look at that like my development stage, and I talk to a lot of artists and they always tell me they delete their old stuff. I'm like, that's a big mistake. Why? That's what I'm saying.
Your audience wants to claim you. They want to be like, I was fucking with her back with such and such, and y'all wasn't on it back then. They like that. Like, they want to feel a part of it. They want to see your growth.
And it's nothing to be
ashamed of. I watch Wiz
of.
Khalifa grow. Like, all type of, and he's a rock star. But
yeah,
we watch these people. Yeah, local artists I've watched. But like, yeah, you gotta leave that for the people. And there's jewels in there.
It's something for you to look back on. Like, that's why I went back into my old catalog and I put everything on SoundCloud, my old stuff particularly, because again, I was doing everything off of the love and I wasn't operating off of business, so I didn't like buy and clear anything. So I just was like,
I know
SoundCloud it all, but everything is. We got everything locked and loaded now. That's why I said I just.
Who is we?
Me, my team.
Team.
Yeah.
Shout out to team.
Shout out to team. Oh my God, it took so long, man. The trust issues I developed in this industry made me crazy.
I don't know if you want to necessarily put names out there, but what positions or names? Or what?
Absolutely. First of all, my videographer, Late Bloomer Cinema. I don't know if you're familiar with him, maybe, but Late Bloomer Cinema.
I think K is.
Yep. Late Bloomer Cinema.
Yep.
Girl, the best, right? No lie. I mean, I met him 2 years ago. Well, I linked up with him 2 years ago on Instagram because that's when I started doing the whole marketing thing. I told myself, okay, I really want to be like a star. I really want to, it's bigger than being like a star, but I really want to, because it's been my dream for so long. I really want to do this. So I just peeled back the layers and I was like, let me just stop creating and go back to learning. Started learning and I was just like through marketing and stuff, and I just was like typing, and I found him on Instagram and we did one video together, and I was just like, he gets it. And that's when I started to realize. I remember praying to myself all the time, like, because everybody
you pray to you.
Praying to, like, God,
silently.
And I'm saying,
I'm messing with you, but
you know what I mean, because everybody goes through things where you meet the team, but it's the wrong team, and then you waste time, and it's just like, all right, I'm gonna leave it up in your hands, and I just pray that you send people my way who are just as hungry and are just as like obsessive and want to do this as much as me. And the first video we did, I was like, we've been working since.
Right.
Like dope. All my videos he's been doing. Shout out to Mo Rise Beats. My new producer, the one who did my website, my brother in France. I think he's originally from Portugal. But yeah, shout out to him for doing my website. And another thing I've learned over time too, a team doesn't have to be 1 million people.
Fuck
it could be like, you see how it's just all three of us here?
Exactly.
And we're making it happen?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When you start thinking like that, that's when you start to like waste time and start to like, oh, I can't do this because no one's here. Well, you're never going to get anything done, boo. You just got to keep moving, and along the way, you'll pick up your tribe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
so I mean,
I see a lot of people chasing management, and it's like you kind of want your management to come organically.
Yeah.
Because when you're chasing it, just like anything that comes with paperwork, you sacrificing your leverage for somebody that doesn't have your best interest in mind. 9 times out of 10.
And in this industry,
you might
I feel
stumble
like you
over
want to
somebody and
build.
get lucky doing it that way,
Right.
but you want to build organically.
Love,
you
you
want
wanna build
people
a
that are as
team.
excited about what you're doing and what they're doing as a part of it.
That genuinely care about you as an artist. That will
Because
literally go to the ends of the earth to see you successful.
People say
It's
things
personal.
fall apart because everybody has a different agenda. Well, we all have different agendas. If I'm a videographer and you're an artist and you're a producer, we all have different things we're trying to achieve. But within this, if we can understand that that's beneficial, regardless of monetary initially, you know what I mean? Because
Right.
everything comes down to dollars and cents at one point.
That's
But
why
when
we're
you're
doing this.
building,
Right.
we have to build towards something.
Right. You have to have
Yeah.
a package that's worth, because you're not going to buy nothing not worth nothing.
Nah,
I
I
know
like
you're
fly
not.
shit.
I know you're not going to buy nothing not worth nothing. So you got to work on the package to give the people something to like, okay.
So what are
I
some
like
of these
this.
steps? What are some things that you said when you said, all right, I'm gonna take it serious. I'm gonna go into the marketing bag. I'm gonna build my team. What are some things that you filled in that was missing?
Okay, and I forgot to shout out one more person, my
Go ahead,
amazing
my bad.
photographer. I want nobody to be mad at me because y'all all make me amazing and help
That's
me
why I want you to
take a
shout
lot
them
of
out.
stress off my shoulders. OMG, I used to do a lot of stuff by myself, and I'm like, I don't know how I didn't lose my mind.
I'm
Maybe
sure.
I did. I don't know. But my photographer, Enoch Purnell, Prescient Photos, shout out to him. All my pictures. Oh, and my photographer in LA too. I went to LA in the summer and I I didn't meet him out there, but I looked him up on an app called Thumbtack.
Yeah,
You know,
what you're talking about.
photographers in LA, and
Yeah.
he was dope. Amazing vibes. Shout out to Brandon in LA too. Amazing vibes. Dope. Thank y'all for making me look good and catch my good sides. So what I decided was, all right, first off, not even decide, what are you here to say? What are you here to represent? And I'll start watching videos, like hours, like just next one snack, next hour, learning about, target audience, your
Right.
potential listener. And I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now. People that are like, and
Oh no, it's science and math in this shit.
yes, and like, once you get it, it's like you become obsessive. It's like, oh, but at the same time, a part of it is like, at least for me, it's kind of organic. Cause I'm like, when I see people come to my page now and I look at their bios, I'm like, and I see they're into some of the stuff I'm into. I'm like, all right,
Starting to make a lot more sense.
it make a lot of sense now. Okay, this marketing thing, don't quit, y'all. Just understand like who you are. Just don't present anything. I don't know everything. I'm not acting like I do, but once I figured some things out, I was like, okay, learn who your people is. Learn about how to properly copyright your stuff. Buy beats, like buy it outright. Don't just, lease. If you just want to promote it, cool. But if you really see potential, me personally, the songs I have now, all of my stuff, I immediately, when I heard the track, I was just like, I'm buying you because I like you and I see the potential. So I learned about that too. I learned about how to use social media correctly. That's another thing. And just how to just be yourself. At least for me, I was just like, wow, okay, cool. So, and I realized, like I told you, the first song I wrote was something uplifting. And I'm just like, wow, I don't know where that came from. But I'm like, I see a little bit because, again, that feeler, the natural feeler, that sensitive type of person is just like, you get it. That heart is like, It's almost like a gospel in a way. But, digestible for everyone in a way, I guess, because whatever. So, like I said, I was immediately attracted to, when I look at people like Mariah Carey, when you look at their backstories, I'm like, I see some of the people that you like, when you really look at their backstory, y'all are so similar. It's like, wow, I see why we click.
Absolutely.
We're butterflies. We're butterflies.
Absolutely. I mean, shit.
It's crazy.
I'm from Philly, and everything is Joe. Everything is Dickie.
Everything is
around-
Joe Sticky, and that's hilarious.
I ran around my whole life like, Hove is my uncle. And motherfuckers is like, that's your uncle. I'm like,
Everything
that's
is
my
Joe.
fucking
Everything is Dicky, and that's
And they
hilarious.
like, that's crazy. You just gonna call that man your uncle? Yes.
That's Joe.
Because I felt like we had a similar understanding of things. Like, I grew up around a lot of pack boys, but I always thought like a boss.
Yeah.
So I can't listen to a pack boy all the time. It does nothing for my growth.
It's not you. Like,
So if I'm listening to a boss, which when Jay came out, he was the only one speaking from that POV. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That it was like, that made more sense to me because even if I didn't get it, I was learning. Because I would get it the next time and the next time and the next time. And then I'd be thinking from a different perspective so that I never have to be on certain levels.
Right.
Mentally.
Right.
It's not a financial thing. It's about just mentality in life and moving as a man. And what kind, just like dealing with a woman, which one of her dudes you want to be?
Which one?
You want to be the trick? You want to be the sucker? You want to be the eat my pussy and leave boy? You want to be the knock it down boy?
Oh my God.
You want to be the one she want to take around family? Because you got all of them.
Oh
Which one you want to be? And that's life.
Like,
and this is just me being a dude and being ratchet about it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the
being
day,
a man.
like,
Such a man.
like that's why I like certain things that I like, because I knew that I could. It was a different POV.
Yeah, you know,
And positivity is universal.
it's okay to
Universal.
right. It's okay to be different, and I feel like that's what's I don't know the root to a lot of the issues. I'm not God, and I don't want to play that role. I just want to be the vessel that He sent me to be. But I feel like a lot of people, that's the issues with a lot of things that's happening. People are afraid to be themselves and be followers. It's okay to be you.
Like other
it's
people's
okay
shit.
to like something different than what everybody's listening to. It's okay to not
And
want to
at that
run the
point,
streets.
that's what I was doing, because everybody was betting on Biggie and Pac over him. But anyway,
Right. It's okay to be yourself.
a song like one of the simplest songs ever, "Living My Life Like It's Golden." Is that the name of it? Jill Scott?
Jill Scott. I think
I'm
the song's
taking
called
my-
Golden.
Golden.
Yeah.
I'm taking my freedom.
Putting on the show. Yeah.
Like, it's so simple, and it's like everybody wants to feel like that.
That's you see the vibe, right?
Yeah.
That's that.
Everybody wants to feel like that.
Come on.
That's what made me
It's
think
universal.
of it. Yeah.
It's universal. That's why.
And if you rank that amongst songs throughout history, it's up there.
Come on.
It's a 98 out of 100.
And
no
you talked
matter who
about
ranks it.
repetitive. Oh, I wanted to like bid with you about that. You talk about you can't repeat stuff. I don't want to say weird, but if I love a song, that's how I know. I utilize that same mindset with my own stuff. Like if I listen to someone else's song on repeat, if I use that same energy, I'm like, yeah, this song got me stuck. This is good.
No, I
I
don't
just
have a
want to-
problem. I don't think repeating is weird. What I was saying was, and I think you're referring to what I'm saying, we heard it on the radio for the last 6 months.
Yes, the
But
Backstreet everybody.
I came up in the era where it was like the thing to do was to be the one that had the shit that nobody had.
Yeah.
So everything kind of aged faster than me because I was the one that always was ahead.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when people were usually the second single off the album is probably the first song that I burnt out when I heard the album on my own, just putting it on repeat. And now it's on the radio and I'm like, nigga, I'm on a whole other, you know what I'm saying? I've always been that kind of person.
Yeah.
Like similar to you, I've had an ear. I had a natural
And
ear.
you know what's good.
And my ear was coached also.
Mm-hmm.
I had a elementary/middle school teacher because he was my 4th grade and my 6th grade teacher. But in the 4th
It'd
grade,
be like that sometime.
in 4th grade, he played songs for us, and that was my example about how consumers hear the whole song, they don't hear the pieces. He was like, "Can y'all identify what instruments y'all hear in the record?" You see what I'm saying? And we're 4th graders, and if you're not trained in a certain way,
He's gonna be like, I just hear a bunch of sound.
you
I don't
hear,
know.
yeah, and
I
you
just hear a
probably
bunch of
can
noise.
identify a drum and keys.
Yeah.
Probably not what kind of keys. You probably don't know a keyboard from a piano from an organ.
Whoo.
You see what I'm saying? But he sat us down. Shout out to Mr. Robinson because I actually made a record with him.
Shout out to
a few
Mr.
years
Robinson.
ago.
Yo, shout out to all the music teachers, yo. They be
And he
making it
wasn't a
happen.
music teacher. He was a musician that just was
Oh.
one of my teachers.
Oh wow, okay.
And ever since then, I've been able to pick the pieces apart, even before I was an artist.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Like, you weren't taught that.
Nope.
I always had an ear for music, but he taught me how to identify music. You already knew how to do that, and you still admit that you don't know where that came from, which, yes, let's give it there.
I just give it.
I'm good with that.
I give it to him.
That's
because
perfect for me.
I think he literally was just because I would have never knew. I would have never knew. Literally,
but
I would have never knew.
That's how y'all vocalists. That's how y'all do. Even certain MCs like God MCs.
He's like,
it's like
keep going. You're about to get close to what you're supposed to be, like your destiny here, and it's not even so much about you. I'm just using you.
And nobody's gonna understand half of it until it hits them. And that's part of your journey.
Man.
That's in your backpack.
And you said something about piano. I took piano lessons.
Me too.
Very briefly when I was 21. No,
I took
20.
them young.
And I was stupid to stop. And at some point I'll pick it up again because I vanity. I wanted to keep my nails long.
Oh, I took piano when they used to smack you with the ruler.
Oh, she didn't do that. She was
I took piano
than that.
I took piano with the Stone Ages.
Shout out to Miss LeBate. It was like, her house, and shout out to her. She didn't smack my hands, but you said something about he made you listen and you don't know what keys. Just that little bit of time, you learned
A, E.
You learn octaves and the C. If I look at a piano now, I know C, D,
and
E, F, G.
And if the engineer says, so where you at? You can say, I'm in the C minor.
Right. Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I learned how to play full songs on there. And I was like, that was a beautiful experience.
Do you still know how to play the songs?
I think so.
I know how to play the scales. The training scales.
Yeah, the do,
crush it. You know what I mean? I know how to do that, but I can't remember none of the songs.
Listen, I'll probably have to. It's been a while. I'll probably have to.
Can you read it?
Yeah.
You can still read music.
Yes, that's a beautiful thing. I think that little time I had, I think I took that away. I was like, I ain't trying to be Alicia Keys, but I'm like just that because it's a beautiful instrument.
You got a motherfucking machine in here. You know that, right?
Listen, I know.
You
man.
absorb a lot of. I'm listening to how you talk, and you're breezing through these things, and I know that you. Because you called yourself weird at a young age earlier. I know that you understand that. I know that you understand that everybody isn't on it like you.
Yeah.
But
I learned that later because
I talk to creatives all the time. And what you're basically explaining is, one, that you're where you're supposed to be.
You feel me, brother?
Let's start there.
You feel me, brother?
But two, that your awareness is on 1,000. You see what I'm saying? You know how they like, be careful what you say around kids, they absorb everything?
Yeah.
Like, you've never really lost that.
Yeah.
like because to say, I don't really know if I could play the songs, but I can still read the music.
Yeah.
That's the harder part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be able to do this off muscle memory.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I remember I got to a point as a young teenager, like 12, 13, I was like, if I didn't remember all these songs, clogging up my shit, I can remember more shit. But it's like you just find a file for it and put it away.
I got a lot of files, man. It just, and it's funny you said that because I did an interview for, and somebody said the same thing. I'm like, they're like, when does your brain stop? I'm like, it doesn't. When I sleep, I guess, but it's not like a burden or nothing. It's just like excitement. It's almost like a kid brain, but I feel good about that because that part of me, that wonderment, and I try to put that into music. It's still there, like. But like that Peter Pan-ish, like.
That pushes me to something that I have to admit that is just an honest reaction to a person with your energy. What's the dark side?
Oh, there's a dark side. And you know what's, I'm so happy you asked me about that. I'm working on new music, y'all.
She in a Prince bag. She got it on her wrist.
If I gave you diamonds and pearls.
Yeah.
Yo.
My aunt died. I cried to that song for like 2 days. No bullshit. During COVID. Anyway.
Shout out to Prince. I got this tattoo when I was like 21. And it was random with me and my friend at the time. And I was obsessed with Prince at the time. I was just like, who is this little person in heels with this guitar and this like, yeah. And the song Diamonds and Pearls. That song is just like, do-do-do-do-do. Like that trance, like make you feel something type of music. You know what I'm saying? And I got this and I read the definition and it was like freedom and everything. That's when he released himself from like the label and everything. And I was just like, yeah.
So he went with the joint on his face.
Yeah. So
he put slave on his face. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was I? Yeah. The files.
Damn it, man! I'm the one that's drinking.
The files. Yeah,
the files. Right.
Oh yeah, I'm working on new music. Talking about the dark side, yo. And you know what? That's why I'm saying the next song that I'm might go with. I don't know. I'm working on it. That's so funny you asked that because I was like, I want to show these people the other side too.
Because you're human.
Yeah, because it
the seesaw ain't always up.
Yeah, trust me, that shit's crazy. And I used to be so scared of it. I used to tell people like the concept of being like imperfect or something's
vulnerable.
Wrong. It's just like, but now I like fully embrace it. I just look at it, I'm like, it came from somewhere. Like you've been through some stuff and you good. Some people would have been like, I just chose to put that, instead of destroying myself, I just put the energy out.
I still haven't made that song yet. The song that breaks that plane between like being super vulnerable. And I'm gonna tell you why. One, I alluded earlier, I went through a lot of crazy shit, lost a lot of people, right? And I have a lot of things that I'm slow walking through while living life, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a process.
To hear it back, to deal with it, to put it on Front Street is a lot in the first place. But then I had a friend that said to me one time, we was talking about music, and he was like, that's why you gotta be careful. I'm like, be careful of what? Be careful what you put on a record, because if it's too deep for you and they love it, you gotta perform it for the next 25 years. And if you know anything about musicians and artists, when they hit that thing, you could cry 50 times out of 1,000 times of performing that song, and you never know which night it's going to hit you. You see what I'm saying?
Our brains are different.
Now.
You definitely got to be careful. You said the right thing on that. Our brains are different.
To a certain extent, but how do we build our core audience? Being vulnerable. Right?
Yeah.
So there's a loss in it too. But I drop little things. Like I have a line where I say I was epileptic, dyslexic, preemie. My body tried to box me in, had to free me.
Wow.
Like people don't, you know what I'm saying?
And look at you now.
God damn it.
God is
Thank
good.
God.
God damn it.
Thank God.
Look at you.
But at the same
That's
time,
crazy.
it's like it took a lot to say that. You see what I'm saying? I have another joint where I refer to when my roommate got killed in college. And it took a lot to say that. And I stole my other roommate's bars to do it. And I hit him up like, bro, I needed you this night.
I need your feelings to guard me real quick.
Like,
as
because
a shield.
like
This is too much.
One of the things that he said in his song was, rest in peace, my nigga left. Rest in peace, my nigga left. A nigga ain't really slept good since your death. We lived in the same townhouse. I understood that emotion 150%.
It's almost like it's like you feel and you don't. It's almost like,
and it's like
real?
nobody heard him say it. Wow. So you know what? I'm gonna tell people it's his joint.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But that was the perfect, like I rode around on my revenge mode listening to that song. Imagine being a young man and, you know, I ain't breaking down the situation, but it was bad. It was bad.
Oh yeah.
And I was in a place where mentally I was depressed and didn't know it. I realized that after he died, but I was already kind of like there.
That's usually how it happens. You're like,
and it was like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And that's a dangerous position when you have intelligence, a temper, the mentality, and the influence that I have. That I've always had.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And this is not a pat on the back. It's just like, there's a certain thing that people know that like when you go there, that's what it is.
Yep.
And that could be one of those things that you drag people into it by accident.
You see, I'm not even.
And that's scary as hell.
Yeah. And like I said.
So I don't want to like visit those things.
Yeah.
Because then it's like Mike Tyson being like, I don't want to fight because I'm a different person when I fight.
Yeah.
It's like it's certain things that once I go there, I'm there again.
You know what's crazy? It's so crazy. That's why we were supposed to do this interview. So the dark side, yeah, it's a dark side. It's a balance. So I want to talk about, you know, the dark side in an endearing way, not like, you know, expose it. Because I'm not scared. Like I said, I've passed that stage because I went through like my issues too, growing up, self-esteem issues, you know, not thinking I was pretty and, you know, just the whole shebang. It was just drama. But
the irony, your mom put you in modeling because she knew you was beautiful at a young age, and you was still at your phase where you were dealing with what was in your head.
Let me piggyback on what you just said. DMX did an interview on the Drink Champ.
I was about to bring up DMX. Talk to me.
He said the same person that introduced him to crack cocaine is the same person that told him to rap.
To rap. Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna get into detail.
No,
The same
that's fine.
person
That's understandable.
that gave you crack cocaine
It's the same
is the same person that
gave you the
encourages
blessing
you
to
at
do
the
the
same. That's
dopest-
why the concept of imperfection fucked my head up for a long time. I've let a lot of people go in my
Because
life.
where's the balance if it's always lopsided as a youngin and then
Yo,
yeah, I understand.
I've let a lot of people go in my life because, and I'm at the stage now where I'm just like, I'm embracing the concept of imperfection in myself and people, because I'm like, but you got to know what's imperfection versus people who don't want the best for you versus people who not really your friend. That's a whole different ball game.
versus people that just don't have your life, don't understand
Right.
your
Imperfection is people who wake up, on the wrong side of bed some days, whatever whatever.
or don't understand your anointing.
Yeah.
They weren't in that position.
Yeah.
Now let's stick to DMX.
Yeah. So when
Right?
he said
Hold
that,
on. Let's
okay.
stick to DMX real quick.
Okay.
Slipping.
That song is so intense.
That's why I don't
can't
want
watch
you to,
that video.
That's why I don't want you to finish what you was
watch
about to
that
say.
video. It's too
Because
much.
what you was about to
Whatever
say-
he was going through was too much.
What you were about to say is actually wrapped up in slipping. Think about it. Cause I'm one of those ones
God, it's
I
too
come
much.
from and thank God for my family. My dad is still
You're
with
dope.
my mom. You know what I mean? They are grown.
They're
They-
still together?
Yes.
That's beautiful.
So like,
oh my God.
but I went through a point in my life where I had certain things going on and I was thinking a certain thing about life. So when he said, didn't get my hair cut, didn't give a fuck how I dressed, you gotta imagine being the kid. Like, my family is barbers. Like, we've had barbershops in West Philly my whole life. My dad, my uncle, and my grandfather. I used to get a haircut every 3 to 4 days. If I didn't brush my hair, they cut my hair. You see what I'm saying? So I was always clean, fresh.
Always fresh, always taken care of.
You know what I mean? Neat.
Always well.
Button-ups,
Yeah.
polos, all
Right.
of that. I got to the point where, like, this shit ain't new. I started growing my hair when I was 15. And it was one of those things where it was like, I was going through a lot, and I kind of wanted to challenge myself to see if I could not give a fuck about how long my hair was. It was like I had to start breaking down certain walls of what I was used to.
What you was conditioned to. And see, you didn't die.
And I didn't even want
The
braids.
sky's not
I just
falling.
wanted to let my hair grow. And then I got my hair braided for my main graduation, and then one day I got like 20 compliments from women. And it was over after that. Like, I'm getting braids all the time
Yeah.
now. But like,
You was with it.
it just grew. But it's one of those things where it's like, up until that point, I felt the same way he did at a certain point, with completely opposite circumstances. That's not a weakness. That is growth. That is part of the process.
And to be able to see that for yourself is major, because that's what
But to
a
be
lot
able
of people.
to provide that for people is the blessing. You see what I'm saying? So that's why sometimes I kick myself and I'm like, you got to give it up a little more. But one thing that I do, if you ever paid attention to my music, I set the fucking party off. I shut the fucking party down. I give people that I'm like a comedian. Like, I'm the release. I'm the fun release.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
You bring the
but
energy.
I also have that other side in there, and sometimes I need to tap into it more.
Because it makes you human. Because at some point, I realized that too. Because for the most part, I'm always, rainbows and sunshine. And I always like to say this because.
So you're similar to me in that way.
Yeah, I like to say once the issues you've overcome them, but they don't
Go
stop.
anywhere.
They are still here.
It's a new
and
one tomorrow.
Every now and then, a trigger will pop up, and it's like, oh yeah, keep working, girl, keep working.
Let's do
keep
this.
Working.
Do me this. Do me
keep
this.
working.
Do me this
OMG.
real quick. 1 second. Let's have a moment of silence for my little brother, RELL. Appreciate that. You walked in, I said I got bad news today.
It's
So
okay.
I'd be remiss if I didn't do that. But we good. We good.
That's
but
okay.
one of the most talented motherfuckers I know.
Blood brother.
No,
Your brother.
he adopted me.
Yeah.
It's my little brother.
Yeah.
I got a lot of them.
Yeah.
But what happens is the only person, and it's crazy because I just told somebody this a couple weeks ago. He's the only person I've ever taken to the studio the first time they've been in the studio. And it was like they did it exactly like they did it in a car. Like they didn't get shot. When when you get in the
You
studio
get a little-
and
you
you
gotta
find
shake off the jitters.
Oh, I didn't sound like that in my head, and it's the
Couple people there. It's
yeah.
like a little jitter. It's like you got this. Is
This month we was in there 2 hours. He ran through like 4 songs and did them like we could have remixed them that day. You know what I mean?
Ready
like
to mix and master, go.
Like, it was like
Upload
that.
it.
And also my brother in the roadway outside of music. But I'm just saying, like, I understand. Like, I see. You know what I mean? I fight. I pay for the studio time. I do these things so that people can see the things that you understand about yourself. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? To understand their purpose. To understand what you bring to this fucking world.
Okay. And that's major. Again, I always want to credit everything to God, because I'm always saying, I'm always having these, it's always coming up. It's like, especially when you weren't raised with certain things, and it's like for some reason you were chosen to be enlightened, and it was just like, I don't know for what reason, but I thank you, because the beginnings were rough.
But with knowledge comes responsibility, because ignorance is bliss for a reason, right?
Oh yeah.
But you know what's crazy?
Oh, yeah.
The most ignorant are responsible to be knowledgeable about laws.
Man.
Anyway, like, that's a whole, like, we could hold a panel on that.
Yeah.
Or some real shit. But at the end of the day, when you understand the things that you understand, you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh yeah.
Because 10 to 10,000 is worth it, right? When there's an understanding there, when you get your point across, when somebody can go through something and say, you know what, I need to hear this right now. Mm-hmm. You know what, I need to watch this interview and see her energy right now. Let me go on her gram, that video I saved from her gram that time where she said mood or whatever women do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was really her, not somebody else's. You know, like,
it's my writing, my brain, my caption.
You and your world. Like,
yep.
I just think that the awareness of that, and I think because I fall on a lot of keywords, but I think the awareness that you have is phenomenal.
Thank you.
And it's important.
Listen, it came, I feel like God was just like, all right, you annoying.
Like LeBron just threw the powder in your face.
Yeah, because it's just like, because again, you just growing up certain ways, your own mind, the type of person, you learning who you are. I remember people used to tell me all the time, you're so sensitive. And I used to tell them, whatever, no, I'm not. And now I'm just like,
are those the dark things? Because I kind of let you out of that a little bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I bailed you out. Where's the dark things?
Okay, so the song, like I said, I may be considering, you know, sometimes, you know, we say we like want love and we want a nice guy and everything, and then, you know, the nice guy comes along and it's like, it's kind of boring, you know, it's not what I imagined in my brain. And, you know, you see, you know, the guy that's not the so nice guy, and it's like the energy, it's like, well, if you
being honest about what I've been preaching on. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's something of that nature, but the dark side, you know, I'm just going to allude to something, because, you know, protection at the end of the day.
And listen to the record.
Yeah, listen to the record. But, you know, you learn about yourself, and, you know, not being able to receive love, or, you know, not wanting to be vulnerable, or really realizing, wow, certain things really did affect me, or, you know, I did internalize a lot of things, or I mistreated some people, you know, maybe that I shouldn't have, and it was because of my
block some blessings.
Yeah, and it was because of my own, you know, drama and issues and it's not blaming, because of course it's almost like a child that gets beat every day. If you raise your hand, they're gonna flinch. They're PTSD, they're traumatized. So it's natural for your brain for you to just be like, you know, but I hear you. It forces you to like grow and not be a victim, because it's like, well, you do have some heavy hitters now. You do have some people that, even if it's not a million people, a million friends, you can count some, at least 2, 3, or for example,
2 is a blessing.
For example, the concept of like a good man, you know, that concept has been a little bit like, because I was raised by like a single mom, you know, and my dad, he was like, you know, in and out, whatever, but it wasn't a bad relationship, but he taught me some real things, and I'm just like, But even now, you know, now I can't say all guys are bad, because I can count at least 4 good guys that I know. I'm not in relationships or anything. They're just like friends or whatever. No. But I can count at least 4 stand-up dudes that I know
that you would
that
you
are
would
respectable.
Vouch for.
Yeah, that are respectable men, loyal men.
I'm not saying they're the only 4, but these are the 4 that
I know.
You know for sure these motherfuckers solid.
These are real men.
Right.
They know how to protect and all that stuff, and you know they're respectful and all that stuff, and it forces you to not be a victim. And it's like, well, you have nothing to fall back on now. You must accept this love. You must.
Well,
you must. Because there's nothing to complain about now.
Friend zoning became like a social media joke, right? And the funniest thing about friend zoning is it was always like women friend zoning men. When a lot of women have been friend zoned, whether they want to admit to it or not.
People have been friend zoned,
but
you know.
The friend zone thing, you know, because we talking relationships and good people and bad people,
or
right?
just, you know, just
sometimes when you find somebody, it's not because you don't want to whatever. Sometimes it's like, this person is solid, so I'm gonna keep them on my team. I'm not gonna put them in a position to where other things could be variables.
Remember what I just said earlier when I met my videographer. This person is solid. I'm gonna leave them. I'm gonna put them on my team. You know, not just like we working, because he was respect handsome. You. But you know what I mean. But it's like, you know, okay.
My bad.
Especially being a girl in this industry and being able to work around a man that's not weird and it's just a normal, good, calm energy is so refreshing.
I knew that's what you meant.
That too, and being like, I just literally have to tell him the vision once and he gets it. I'm just like, wow.
No, the get it thing is big, and it is big with visuals, and it's super big with production.
Yeah.
Or engineering.
Yeah, and just people who are just like, they're actually good people. And it's just like, it's refreshing, because in the world we live in, if you really, social media, it's so much going on, you start to really like think like everybody's just bad. World. Like, oh my God, everybody's just like crazy and close yourself off. And it's like, it's going to make you weird. So it's just like, that's another thing.
Well, you got to come outside too.
Yeah, that's another
One thing that I keep hearing, Nori, and he's having a rough couple of days, and
there's a lot going on.
I'm looking at you crazy, and I love you too. But one thing that he always says is he was having one of those days in the media where like it felt like, and this was before this, where we felt like things was weird, and he called Angela Yee, and Angela Yee told him, do me a favor, walk outside, walk across the street, walk back. Did anybody that you saw say anything about that shit that you worried about on the internet?
Yo, that's another thing.
Because that's the real world. The people that you see on the street is going to say, yo, can I get a selfie? Yo, you my Yala. Yo, you this and the third. Yo, that song saved my life. That's what the people in the street say. You see what I'm saying? And we have to understand the difference. We are on line to market and to keep up with family members on Facebook. And the blessing of it is that if you're doing something and I don't see you for 6 months, I still can support you or see what you're doing and see and offer. Maybe I could tag somebody that can help you with something, or maybe I could show up to something that you might not have remembered to tag me. Right. Like I have that way of keeping up with you. But outside of that, that's not the real fucking world.
No.
You are a real person. You give out real emotions. You deal with real people. The people that you talking about on your team, you have for real reasons. When motherfuckers misinterpret that, that's their place.
That's their own weirdness. But I'm just grateful for good people, period. Because even me, I felt
that's why I wanted you to shout your folks out.
Yeah, you know, because even, and another thing too, when you really, what I've noticed, at least for me personally, when you really like make a decision about like your life and get serious, and you're not the person who's just like a bag in the wind anymore, man, it's a scary, it's almost like,
in the wind,
you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
But sometimes you need to be a bag in the window because it's the process. Because you're just trying to find yourself, you know what I'm saying?
One of the dopest things I heard Jill say, and this is the second Jill reference. Jill, you owe me an interview, sweetie. I love you. Jilly from Philly. But anyway, she said sometimes she used to just ride the subway and people watch. and nobody would realize
Yo.
that she was on the fucking subway with him, and she used to make songs off of that shit. Just watching, and you know the Orange Line in Philly,
and she's inspired. Just like
chilling, getting back to regular life and seeing how people move. And not being. We know you got the strongest voice we've seen since whoever the hell, but she's still in there with the Scully on and the bubble jacket, looking at y'all ain't peeping, and she about to write a hit off of y'all for somebody else.
Listen, we love a good hat. We love a good hat. Disguise, yeah.
But no, I think
Discreet.
I think that's a beautiful way to center yourself. Just like some people can only record, they don't want to be in the top studios. They want to be in the environment that they create from, or they want to be on a vacation to experience something different, or they want to take a certain amount of time to experience life. I think we owe ourselves those understandings, and I think she understands her pocket.
Oh yeah.
And I think you understand yours also.
Man,
that's why every time I say Jill, you be right on it. You like,
yeah,
I know Jill.
because I feel the vibes. I'm like, yeah, and
Jill.
especially that golden song you talked about. I'm like, yeah, because I got songs like that where I'm just lit talking about life, like. Woke up today and I'm feeling great and ain't nothing gonna get in my way, because you just feeling like effervescent. It's like,
I tell you a rapper that does that.
Why
all the
not
time.
feel good about life? Like,
I tell you a rapper that does that all the time and people love him, but it's not, Currency.
My mom loves him, yo.
Currency literally just raps about his day.
Oh my god!
And he does it so chill. And he names a car. And he names a hue, and he smoke a spliff, and you be with him the whole ride. You be in a station wagon, feeling like you in a Trans Am, IROC. You know what I mean?
We vibing. My mom loves him.
Currency dope.
And my mom is from the islands, y'all. My mom is Haitian, so she's very like hilarious. She'd be like, yeah. Currency, he's dope. And I'm just
Haitian
like,
moms are the best. My man Shad, shout out to the number 2 Haitian. Is Wyclef, then it's Shad.
Oh, they're special.
Then it's Shad. Shad's
they're special.
mom, we used to be at his house. We used to be deep, like just pop up on her from coming from out of town. And she'd be like, you don't want to eat?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, nah,
if you don't eat, it's offensive.
We just ate. She'd be like, you don't have to pay for it. And like she played the shit out you, like you acting like a broke boy. Like, come get a plate.
Just eat the food. It's
just
offensive if you don't. Just eat it, because she won't stop asking.
We used to love that though.
Yep.
You don't have to pay for it. I'm gonna say that at her funeral.
Very nurturing and motherly and
sweet.
They have their moments, their dark sides.
No, but see, I'm used to that.
For the most part,
I'm used to that. Like, you know what I mean? My man's grandmom, I remember we spent the night at his house before a tournament. It's 8 a.m. and she is cussing him out. And he was black. He wasn't Haitian. But, like, we used to that shit. That made me feel at home. Like, grandmom cussing? Oh, we good.
Oh, yeah. We're in there like swimwear.
I'm second in the shower or we fighting. What we doing?
Okay. So, yes, of course, there is a dark side. And I am not afraid of she.
Is it relationships? Is it upbringing?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things, I did my therapy and everything, and I'm just like, oh, so I understand.
Literal therapy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand myself well. Even my therapist was just like, okay, so you really, I understand why I am the way I am.
You made her job easy. Yeah,
I understand why I am the way I am, and I understand what I need to do. And I'm just happy that I have an outlet. And there is a dark side, and I embrace said dark side. I try not to shame it too much. And another thing I learned, sometimes I'm a little like judgmental, and I'm like, if you judge yourself, then more than likely you judge other people. Very crazy too.
Absolutely. That's why most people that have their head on straight are their own biggest critic.
Yup. And
most
that
people
inner
that you
critic
see succeed are their own biggest critic, and you could never do anything to them more than they do in their own head.
Didn't I just tell you about the songwriting process before you get to a point where it's like you're not overthinking? It's like, okay, I like this melody. And then the words start to spill. It's almost like a dictionary, and you start to break it down. And it's like, all right, we passed that stage of I suck and who do you think you are?
Because y'all can be flat. Like, y'all can say, y'all can flat out just say something plain and sing it in a way that is dope, right? Mm-hmm. And people get it. If I say something plain as a MC, people look for the alternate meaning in it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So then I have to be careful Because if I want to say something, I have to be careful which one they're going to catch sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they're overthinking it possibly. Or maybe I didn't think. Because sometimes, a lot of times when MCs do double entendres, triple entendres, they didn't necessarily realize that when they was writing it.
It just happens.
And sometimes other people point it out to them. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
You're like, what? When did this happen? It's like you was in your bag. Let it happen. Don't stop it. I mean, hey.
But that's why this shit is so dope, man. That's why being able to understand that you have a purpose as a creative, no matter what level that's on, because we spoke earlier about success.
And as a person, period. Because like I said, a couple years ago, I decided, I was like, I'm really going to do this for real. And I really seen, I'm like, you could do this. And I'm like, all right. It's like you have a relationship with yourself. It's like you could really, yeah.
So when did Slay Myers become the name?
This was probably a few years ago.
When Slay was the thing?
I was performing. No, my name, my government. Well, I don't want to say my government, but
nah,
I used to go by a whole nother name. But my friend, when I was performing on the stage one time, he was like, "Goddamn Slay Myers." My shout out to Good Deed Skis, my friend. He rocked out me for years.
Kind of how I got this name, but go ahead.
Yeah, he rocked out me for years. You know. He had his little moment and whatever, but he was one of them friends that really like rocked out me, and I appreciate it for that. But he was like, "Goddamn Slay," and I was just like, I like that because it's my personality. It's like spicy, it's sweet, you know, and that's my last name. So I was like, I went with it, and I was just like, okay, that's who I am, Slay Myers. It's like he literally just said Slay Myers. I was like, yep. So here we are. And everything I do, I aim to like do good. I aim to slay.
Nah, kill shit. Your job is...
Jay-Z said you're not doing this to be number 2.
Listen.
You might as well not do it then. Why? All this energy for what?
I got friends that's battle rappers, and they be like, I got this battle coming up, and I be like, you know your job, right? Uh-huh. They be like, what's that? Kill shit and come home.
Literally.
I need you to go out there, represent yourself the best that you can, and I need you to get home safe. That's all we care about. The
top priority, get home safe. Underline that.
You heard me? Because at the end of the day, one without the other is uncivilized. But you being here is most important. Yep. So I want you to, whenever you get a chance to be on that stage, and I'm talking to you too.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you get a chance to be in that booth, whenever you get a chance to be in that alleyway with motherfuckers, you got their attention.
Go in.
Put your best foot forward. You know how motherfuckers say, I left it all on the court? Do that.
And another
then get
thing
your ass
too,
back home.
I started to understand that I'm a brand. More than an artist, I'm a brand. So even how like
you're a brand first.
Yeah, even how I'm like dressed, how I carry myself today and everything. It's just like, you know, once you understand that in anything you're doing, then it starts to be like, I get it. How would you want your brand to be represented? So how would you want this to be for your brand? How would you want that for your brand?
Let me give some advice real quick, because we're going to wrap this soon. I talked to a couple young guys in the city that's doing pretty good. They're making decent progress. They're killing every opportunity.
Killing the game.
Yeah, doing what they're supposed to do overall. And I said, one, keep doing that. That's most important. Always show up and show out.
Yeah.
2, hit up the clearance racks. Because you're going to be on stage or you're going to be on camera constantly. Tear them clearance racks up.
I like how you think. Go there first before you go to the full price.
If it's blank, find a way to put your name on it. If it's in between, find a way to put it together with something you already got. But get it ahead of time, because you always want to look like something when you come outside. And you made me think about that because you're talking about understanding. You know what I mean? Like, no, this is a show.
I would never just...
This is a show. We got to come out, baby.
Like, what do you mean? Like, and that's what I be saying. Sometimes you see, it's like, wow, it's just a little thing that just shows you how much people really care and pay attention, obsess over their own stuff. It's like, why would you show up like that? It's like, would you go to a job interview with a t-shirt or whatever, you know?
Would you aspire to be like somebody that show up like that?
No, like nobody. And it's not even about impressing people. It's about, look, how do you don't care about yourself? You want to look.
And think about the 2 cities that you resonated in, New York City and Philadelphia. It ain't no half-stepping in these cities. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, and one thing that I know that we have to be careful about how we ingest it, but it's true, is in business, when you look like money, and I'm not talking about having on a bunch of chains. When you look like money, people deal with you different in business.
Yeah.
Because you don't look like you need. So now they trying to figure out a way to intrigue you.
And they probably respect you too, because they see you respect yourself.
Exactly. These are like fundamental things.
Respect
and it goes
is
back
important.
to what you said earlier about children and such when what they're aware of at a certain point. It's like that's how adults' minds get fogged, and that's where creatives and artists are outliers at. Is most children, I feel like children could talk to the dead because they're so on energy as opposed to
and pure.
Oh, you look like or act like the kind of person I'm supposed to get along with. Like that's where by 12 we blown that away. If you're not somebody that's a creative or somebody that's different, that's like, well, I don't really need to conform.
I don't really care. It's like,
I'm
and them
hang
people
out-
that want you to conform to, it's like when you read, they're miserable because they trying to be like everybody else.
And they gotta be that forever. They don't even get to grow.
They don't even know who they are. It's like, this is what I thought I should be because this is what's hot and whatever. But things that are lasting is things that are from the heart and like, you know, passionate and like real and just being yourself. Like, I feel like people vibrate with that and resonate with that. Just do you.
I think that's a perfect place to wrap. Let the people know everything that you have popping that they need to tap into and how to catch up with you and how to book you and how to all that.
All right. So speaking of acting was my first love, right? So are you familiar with Philly Celeb?
Yes.
Shout out to Philly Celeb, one of
Absolutely.
my favorite people. That's one of the stand-up people I was talking about.
Okay.
So shout out to him. So there's a short film coming out called Gideon's War, and I play Zariah in there. So I haven't acted in years, but he gave me a chance to act out that muscle. He just thought about me because, you know, we've been familiar in circles, connecting, networking, being friendly, whatever.
No, that you said the perfect thing. Go ahead.
Networking and dope, amazing person. And he sent me the script and I immediately was like, wow, that's funny. God has a sense of humor. Because the person I'm playing is a girl and her dude's name is Gideon, and you know, he's a good person, but he's trying to like figure out ways to like provide for his family and not the best ways, like a lot of these young men out here.
Absolutely.
And hopefully this can be a PSA for people to think before you act, because that one moment of you making the right decision, you got a whole life ahead of you. It's up to you what you want to do.
It only takes a couple
It's up to
seconds
you.
to change your life.
That's it.
For the worse.
So Gideon's War is a short film coming out on YouTube to be announced. I shot my final scene yesterday, so shout out to Philly Celeb for giving me that shot. And
Rap party.
yes, and the whole like single mother thing has been a thing in my brain for a while. So it's funny how Zariah, I was just like, yeah, I gotta play that because it's like cathartic.
So
It's
you
like,
bodied that.
yeah. So I told him, you better sit your butt down because I'm not raising my daughter by myself. Okay. But
Yeah,
anyway,
so-
y'all, I'm not gonna give it away too
No,
much.
clip it and tag her when you see
Hey,
it. That
so like I said, my latest single, It's My Time, is
Mm-hmm.
out on all platforms. There's a video too, guys. I'm not gonna
And
give
the
that away
documentary.
to you. And the documentary as well. If you want to know more about me, you can follow me everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Slay Myas. It's only Slay Myas everywhere because I'm Slay Myas. So yeah, look forward to that. I have new music coming, new sides, you know, show you your girl is real, and I go through things, and you know, I make mistakes and I push people away sometimes, and it's my comfort zone. Get away. So stay tuned for that. And oh yeah, my website is out now. That came out in August, but check that out as well. Join the mailing list, exclusive content. Follow me on YouTube.
Please join the mailing list. It's important. I don't think y'all know how important that is.
Yes. Follow me on YouTube. And stay tuned. I have merch coming too, guys. So stay tuned for that. So thank you for the platform. We've been trying to get together for a minute, so I'm excited. Thank you.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes.
All right, that's all that's important.
So I'm good. I'm good. I'm not nothing like, sloshed or anything, but yes. So I'm Slay Myas. So if you enjoyed anything you heard today, like I said, follow me, Slay Myas, SlayMyas everywhere. And Like my bio says, life gave me some lemons, so I'm making the sweetest sounds.
That part. And I am sipping with Sammie, Sam Malone, Barstool, Rug. If you ain't sipping with Sammie, you ain't sipping right. Please get your fucking life together. It'll be 2023 already. You wouldn't have a shot yet. Once again, rest in peace to RELL.
I feel it inside, it's finally about to come alive. Everything I see in my mind is coming true in a real time. I can't believe my eyes, such beautiful vision that's waiting for me, yeah. I'm ready for my blessing. Radiant, the light shines all over my body. Oh yeah, energy, oh I feel it.
It's about that time that we get the action. Swedish shit just be so static. Yeah, they finna say that we groundbreaking. Remember times it was in the basement. We keep it G, we ain't on no fake shit. All this pain we had to embrace it. I love the vibe, we finna go ape shit. My hoodie on like I fuck with big shit. We're standing out, but we keep it going. My brothers ride, they say keep it flowing. Let's mix it up, girl, I got the potion.